Volleyball breaks records.
And the football team's off to a hot start for its season.
All this and more coming up on this week's episode of the Penguin Rundown. Good morning, everyone. Welcome into this week's episode of the Penguin Rundown. I'm your host, Katie Rogers-Videla, alongside my new co-host, Betty Cause. Betty, it's so exciting to see you here. I can't wait to see what we do this semester. Got a girl duo. I love it. But you know what I also love? How good YSU sports have been opening their seasons. Football, volleyball, soccer. We were actually just at the football game this past week, and it went really well.
It was great being on that sideline, Katie, watching the football team perform so well. Now 2-0 in a homestand. So what do you got for football for us?
Let's find out. The football team is off to a hot start after outscoring their opponents 80-30 through the first two games of the season. The Penguins stayed at the Ice Castle for Week 2, September 10th, as they played host to the Dayton Flyers. They displayed an overpowering offense in the game, rushing for 256 yards and passing for a school record 6 touchdowns. Crenshaw completed 11 of his 17 passes for 230 yards and 5 touchdowns. His 5 scoring plays tied a school record set by Kurt Hess back in November of 2011. Crenshaw connected with 4 different receivers on his touchdown passes and with 6 different receivers overall. One of those targets being redshirt freshman Max Tomczak, who had a huge game receiving, racking in 92 yards on 3 catches and bringing him one of those touchdown passes. Junior Mitch Davidson's fourth quarter touchdown pass set the team record for most passing touchdowns. Here's what Crenshaw had to say about tying the school record.
Man, very humbling. I mean, that's good. I was doing what I could do to get the win. I mean, stuff like that. If that's what has to happen, we get a win, then I keep doing it. But, yeah, I mean.
Senior Jaleel McLaughlin continued his monstrous start to the season with 129 yards on 13 carries, including a touchdown. He is now 10th on the NCAA all-time rushing yards list with 6,916 yards. The Flyer offense couldn't get much going against the Penguin defense as they produced only 189 yards of total offense. The run defense was again dominant against Dayton as Youngstown State held Dayton to 55 yards on the ground and under 2 yards per carry. They also held the Flyers to 134 yards passing while forcing 5 sacks and 2 interceptions. The Penguins come out on top by a final score of 49-16. The football team will head to Lexington, Kentucky to face an SEC opponent in the Kentucky Wildcats Saturday, September 17th at noon. The game can be listened to or watched on 570 WKBN or on the SEC network.
Turning things over to soccer, the women's soccer team has now won consecutive games at the Farmers National Bank Field as they took down the Kent State Golden Flashes by a final score of 1-0. The victory also marks the first time YSU has defeated Kent State since 1997. Senior midfielder Lily Welch scored her first career goal around the 71-minute mark of the match, where her header found the bottom left corner of the goal. Junior goalkeeper Brooklyn Kirkpatrick posted her 3rd consecutive shutout, becoming just the 2nd player in school history to achieve the feat. Up next for the Penguins, they'll open up Horizon League play on the road as they take on the Oakland Golden Grizzlies tomorrow, September 15th. Kickoff is slated for 5 p.m., and for live updates throughout the match, you can go to ysusports.com. Now for a more in-depth look on the soccer team, let's send it over to this week's roundtable at Farmers National Bank with Cameron Stubbs and John Ostapowicz.
Thanks, guys. Welcome to Farmers National Bank Field. I'm here with my buddy John Ostapowicz, and today, John, we're going to talk about soccer.
Yeah, and there is a lot to talk about as they already have 6 games under their belt, already going 2-4-1, and they've lost some close games. So, Cameron, can you really tell us, what has happened in those games so far?
Yeah, those close games, Akron, Valparaiso, Duquesne, and Loyola, close games, but in the end, they didn't pull it out. But let's look at the positives here, as they were 2-11-5 last year in total. This year, they already have 2 wins. How big is that for them already this early in the season?
And that's such a massive win for them, especially losing 4 straight, really having a tough time, but being able to go to Bonaventura, New York, and really get that draw there. That really set up the pace for them to really win those 2 home games. So that was such a nice breath of fresh air for them to come back here at Farmers National Bank Field and secure 2 wins. Now, because of those 2 wins, they take that momentum and they go into Oakland. Now, Oakland, they just finished their non-conference opponents, and now they start in conference. So Cameron, can you tell me a little bit about, those players that have made such a difference and their the conference opponents coming up?
Yeah, the 3 goals by Maddie Root, Reagan Lavinia, and Miss Lily Welch. They've been big goals, only 3 goals on the season, but they've mattered a lot to us.
Yeah, and like you said, Cameron, Lily Welch, this is her second career goal for her and first of the season, and all those girls have done such a huge job in sort of orchestrating this team offensively. And on the defensive side of the soccer ball, you have to look at Brooklyn Kirkpatrick, 39 saves so far already over 6 games, so she continues to be this brick wall for a team that's needs as much help as they can defensively, so they continue just to rely on her. But if you look in the game against Kent, there was a great save by one of the players, Michaela Mustard. She was able to get in there while Brooklyn Kirkpatrick stepped up and really saved the game for them so it didn't go into a tie. So such a great orchestration by her.
Yeah, Kirkpatrick, she's been a real wall back there, so we're really proud of her for that.
Yeah, and she looks to continue her dominant performance as she goes into Oakland, which that is their first in-conference opponent on the road, so that is definitely going to be a challenge for them. And I had the opportunity to talk with head coach Brian Schrum, and he said that this is the most competitive squad he has the pleasure of coaching so far, and he looks to take that momentum and go into Oakland and sort of try to secure another Penguins win.
Well, let's hope Oakland ends in another dub. Back to you, Katie and Betty.
Thanks, Cameron and John. Now we're going to head into volleyball, where their long road trip is nearly at an end as they took 2 of 3 matches in the Western New York Invitational. The Penguins first took a loss in 4 sets to the University of Buffalo. Match leaders included sophomore Paula Gershing with 15 kills, sophomore Isabel Schaefbauer with 19 assists, and senior Isidora Sizik with 13 digs. Despite taking set number 1, it was all Buffalo in sets 2 and 3. YSU turned things around, however, in match 2 against Canisius, sweeping the Golden Griffins 3-0. Freshman Abby Householder and Gershing held their own as they both recorded double-doubles in kills and digs. YSU had an even slate of offense and defense as 2 or more Penguins earned double digits in kills, assists, and digs. The Griffins could not keep up with YSU's offense as they recorded nearly 20 less kills and assists. In the last match of the tournament against Bucknell, senior Josie Borum became the first Penguin in school history to record multiple career triple-doubles in the 5-set win. Her performance included 10 kills, 25 assists, and 16 digs. Borum commented on the team's success this early in the season.
Our urgency, we know that we all want to be better, we want to do better, and I think as a team we decided that and we pushed for it, and that's how we got here now.
Other great takeaways from the match against the Bison include Gershing with 26 kills and 4 blocks, Sizik with 20 digs, and junior Diane Malave with 5 kills and a team-high 6 blocks. Competition between the Penguins and the Bison was incredibly balanced on both sides of the court. However, Youngstown State would come out victorious. Tomorrow, the Penguins will compete closer to home as they head to the University of Akron to take on the Zips. Follow along on ESPN Plus or on YSUsports.com.
Going over into the cross-country team, they've finally got their season underway at the Penn State Harry Grove Spiked Shoe Invitational. Of the 8 schools that competed at the meet, YSU finished in 7th place in both the men's and women's competition. Turning over to the men's, we've got junior Tycoon, who led the Penguins in the 5.2-mile run with a time of 26 minutes and 19.2 seconds, which was good for a 27th place finish overall. Junior Ryan Meadows finished behind him, finishing in the 31st place and clocking in at a time of 26 minutes and 22.8 seconds. Looking at the women, we've got the 6K run. The fastest Penguin of the day was senior Mackenzie Scott, who was able to finish the race with a time of 22 minutes and 47.8 seconds. The cross-country team has this weekend off, but will compete again on September 23rd for the Coast to Coast Battle in Beantown Invitational, hosted by Boston College.
YSU's women's golf team began the Roseanne Schwartz Invitational at Mill Creek Park Golf Course in Boardman. In the first round on Monday, the host Penguins picked up a single round score of 294, leading Bellarmine by 11 strokes. Lizzie Sauer was the individual leader in the first round as she had a 2 under par mark of 69, a career low. She also became just the 6th golfer in school history to go a round under 70 strokes. Buthita Conrudy was tied for 3rd with a 1 over par 72, while Tatita Loud-Trangulam and Adina Regula both cashed in a 3 over par 74 to tie for 7th place. Down the stretch, Dana Regula was tied for 9th with 75, Chelsea Barrett tied for 14th at 77, Maddie Smithko tied for 20th at 79, and Christina Lewis tied for 22nd in 80 strokes. As of Monday, Bellarmine was in 2nd place behind the Penguins at 305, while Cleveland State was in 3rd at 307. Mount St. Mary's was 4th with 310, and then Detroit Mercy was lying in 5th place with 313 strokes. As for the men, Day 1 would see the team finish in 11th place out of 15 competing universities. 5th-year student Brian Corduple led the squad, tying for 55th place, while freshmen Ryan Sam and senior Cole Chrisman following behind, both tied for 65th place. The Invitational wrapped up for both the men and women yesterday, so to see how it all went down, be sure to go to YSUsports.com.
Now, instead of a Play of the Week, we've got a Player of the Week for you, and it comes to no surprise for their amazing performance on the field. Let's throw things over to Bryce.
Thanks, guys. This week's edition of Penguin Player of the Week will go to none other than sophomore quarterback Demetric Crenshaw of the football team and his record-tying performance this past weekend against Dayton. Crenshaw would go 11 for 17 for 230 yards and 5 touchdown passes. Those passes will tie the Penguins' school record in a single game for most touchdown passes, with 5 equaling Kurt Hess's achievement that he set back in 2011. The YSU football team would go on to win that contest 49-16. Congratulations to Demetric on being named this week's Penguin Player of the Week, and we'll send it back to Katie and Betty. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Bryce, and congratulations to Demetric and the rest of the football team, and good luck this weekend at Kentucky. That'll do it for us here at the Penguin Rundown this week. I'm your host, Katie Rajardella, alongside Betty Koss. For news, highlights, and more, be sure to check out YSUsports.com and follow us on both of our social medias on Instagram and Twitter. Those are both at Penguin Rundown 1. We'll see you next week, Penguin Nation.